Was that then, Kareem, the night you had that terrible injury? Was that actually your first appearance then for
Yeah,
ECW?
yeah.
Wow.
That was my first appearance. I mean, I was there behind the scenes, behind stage for a majority of the shows, but that was my first televised actual appearance. And yeah, it was a memorable experience. So, yeah. I don't know if you watched any of the video. Uh, I know you can see when the ropes rolled when I went to push off. I'm kind of waving at Shane. I'm like, you need to roll him back in some because I'm not going to be able to get out there. He had him. He had Anthony placed out a little too far, and he just was telling me to come on, come on, come on. And when I went to jump off, the rope rolled, and I lost my footing, and that's when I tried to catch myself, which I should have just whatever, but wound up snapping my leg, both tib fib.
He in a couple of interviews spoke of the fact that you in class and what he observed saw you hit that all the time.
Yeah.
Was there were the ropes loose or was it some other factor that contributed to
that? So the ropes there were different from the ropes where you referred to Perry when he mentioned that.
It was actually Shane Douglas who said
okay,
you hit it lots of times.
Because I know Shane and Perry also mentioned it as well. But yeah, the ropes at the school was different. They were a lot more tighter and everything. That whole ring, I got used to that ring. When we got to the ECW ring in the arena, which was a completely different ring, it was a lot harder, a lot stiffer. And the ropes wasn't the same as the ropes there. I think the ropes at the school were more just the wire. This one here had it was the cable, and then it had other stuff over top of the cable, and then it was taped over top, and they were a lot thicker. So they were able to roll around a little bit, once you step on there, if you didn't have the right footing.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about then, obviously, the injury happens. You got to break the news to the parents and got to tell everyone what had happened. What was kind of life like, we'll say, in the hospital, trying to explain this to people of you wanted to go down this road? What was the kind of reaction from friends and family?
So friends and family, friends were more excited and crazy, calling me crazy because they didn't think I was going to go through with it. But the other friends that knew me knew, okay, he's not all there in the head. He's going to go to this crazy place and get beat all over the place with barbed wire and everything else. So the friends and them, they were all excited. They're running around telling everybody, oh my God, he's a professional wrestler. And he actually did it. Family, it's more so since my grandmother wasn't around. It was more so my mom and my aunts. My aunt, she kind of supports it even still to this day. She'll support it from afar. She doesn't like the fact that there's a lot of times I'll be in so much pain that I'll be walking around and she'll just shake her head, and then but my mom, because she got to come to some of the shows and got to hang out in the back in the locker room and party with some of these guys, and my mom loved it because that was my mom's lifestyle. So she I mean, even still to this day, even because it was his birthday, I kind of was thinking about New Jack, and he always used to, when he used to come to my house, he always used to ask me, how's your mom doing? How's your mom doing? And, but yeah, family, there was really no issue. I mean, even still to this day, they're still running around. Oh my God. And then my little cousins now, oh, he's a professional wrestler. He's telling everybody in school they want to bring me to, parent and teacher meetings. They want to bring me and not their mom and dad. So, yeah.
In the wind up to that story then, and we'll close it off now and we'll talk about other things, but What was the response like from the ECW end? Obviously, you had a very, very bad injury, and did they ever invite you back to TV or offer you any roles there in the company?
So that night in the hospital, after the show and everything, Perry calls me. He was the first one to call me in the hospital and said, "You came in and you did it right." He's like, "When you come back," he's like, "we're going to teach you how to do moonsaults." I was like, "Oh yeah, have me break my neck next time I come back." I said, "But I said I will be back. I'm not done." I said, because if you could have saw some of the doctors' faces, they're looking at me and I'm yelling and screaming at them. I said, "Am I done? Am I done?" They said, "No, you'll be done. You're only out for about 6 months." I said, "Okay, that's all I need to know." So um, Perry was the first one to call, and then Taz actually never called. But we all know where that happened. But Heyman called and told me, you don't worry about it. Your tuition's paid for the rest of the school year. When you're ready to come back, just come back, and we'll start it all over again. And I said, okay. I said, I'll be back definitely in 6 months. I said, trust me, I'll be back. And Bay Ragney, Chubby Dudley, who was there at the time, he's also been a very close friend of mine, and he was one that actually, because my car sat down at the ECW arena for a week while I was in the hospital or laid up. He was the one that actually drove my car home to me to get it out of the parking lot. But I mean, yeah. Other than that, it was a fun time, and when the cast came off and I did go back, they tried to baby me a little bit because obviously, oh, don't his leg. I was like, my leg's fine. Let's go. I'm ready to go. And I think it wasn't until like 3 or 4 months I had a couple dark matches. Then I started thinking, because my girlfriend at the time said, what's going to happen if you get injured again? You need something else to fall back on. And I kind of was like, this is what I'm doing, wrestling. But it was eating at me, and I was like, okay, yeah, what am I going to do after if something else does happen? And so I talked to Perry and I talked to Taz. I said, look, I need to go back to college. I want to finish my last 2 years of schooling, and then I'll come back. And I said, nothing against you guys. I said, but this is something that I think I need to do just so I have something else to fall back on after I leave here. And they respected me for that. And I did my last 2 years of college. And when I came back, or was going to come back, Vince had brought out the WWE at that time.